that's a great question. To give a full answer to that, I'd really like to start with some background. You see, I've always been immersed in music throughout my entire life. I have no memory of a world without music. Music and poetry. In fact, music is central to many of my earliest memories. So for me, there wasn't a time when I discovered a love of music. It was like the air I breathed. It was part of me. When I released my first album, I saw that work as a collection of devotional songs. The album was widely regarded as groundbreaking, and it was extremely successful, and paved the way for many other artists who came later. But in the music industry, there's always a desire to reduce, to label music for the sake of marketing. So for financial purposes, my early music was labeled nasheed by others who wanted to ensure they had a target audience to market to. And that's one of the reasons that I left that world behind. Now I have a very clear purpose in terms of the direction of my music. I'm focused on the preservation, propagation, and expansion of traditional music. That's my path, artistically speaking. And for several years now, I've dedicated my life to it. The reason is that traditional arts carry the heart of a civilization across time. And in this time of disconnection from one another, from a sense of place, from the sacred, these arts have a special role to play. From Southeast Asia to India to Persia, Central Asia, to Turkey, across the Middle East, Africa, there's limitless beauty in their distinct musical forms. It breaks my heart that young people don't know Qawwali of India and Pakistan, or the Ilahis and Salat of Turkey. They don't know this is music from the Muslim world, and they aren't able to understand the language and the profound message it's sending them. What today is sometimes referred to as Islamic music is in fact not that. Not at all. Hip-hop music or an R&B song with faith-based words is not Islamic music. It could be called faith-based or devotional because of its lyrics, but the sound, the music itself, has nothing to do with the 1,400-year legacy of Islamic civilization. No serious scholar or musicologist or anyone who takes music seriously would ever accept an R&B song with faith-based words as Islamic music. Authentic, traditional Islamic music has a whole science of sound, of tonalities, of maqamat, and has existed since the early centuries of the religion. Its power is recognized for healing body and soul. It's important the difference between these two is clear. Many of my own pieces don't fit into the category of Islamic music. That's why I call the genre spiritique. Many have a lot of modern elements. My first album is devotional. I call it Inspired by Faith. But now my focus is on traditional music, and I'm determined to keep the music alive and expand it. I also believe it's possible to synthesize sounds that are from traditional and authentic sources as long as they're from the same world and are connected to the sacred and the divine. And that's what I do. For example, it's possible to use the tambur and elements of Qawwali in one piece. It's not bastardizing because they're from the same world. And so to answer the question, how do I describe my music? Today I would classify all my music as compositions. As for songs, a song to me is a 3 to 4 chord lyric-based piece of music. It's formulaic, short, and oftentimes dreadfully linear. I mean, it can be linear. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to speak negatively about songs, but they can be like this. When I hear a piece like Fia Shia described as a song, I feel the term doesn't reflect the gravitas of the piece. For example, my own humble works, such as Nasini or A Dancing Heart, can't really be described as songs. These are complex and highly textured, 9-minute or so compositions. As I've said for several years now, I've been focused on honoring and celebrating our amazing heritage of sacred traditional music. It's my vision to make the beauty and spiritual depth of these musical forms accessible to contemporary audiences, to share with them the meaning and joy I find in this ecstatic music, and hopefully to encourage others to learn its mysteries so they can pass it along to future generations. It's this vision that is at the heart of my compositions, and that's how I see my music. I hope that answers your question.